want to talk about business interruption. So 60 days ago, we had a fire down the street from our office here. It was this restaurant that's been in this city for about 30 years. Long-time family-owned business. I remember going there as a kid with my dad. That's how long it's been around. And just in the middle of the afternoon, about 60 days ago, during the lunch rush no less, they had a fire in the kitchen. What I've heard so far is that it was a fryer and it kind of got out of control and the fryer caused this fire and the building burned to the ground. And every day I drive past that restaurant on my way to work. And even today, they have a chain link fence around this building. No one's been in or out since the fire department left. And every day I think to myself, I wonder what that owner's doing today. He has lost so much that he's worked for 30 years on that building, on that business. And in 60 days, think of what he's lost. He's lost all of his revenue. He's lost all of his profit. He has ongoing expenses associated with that building. I'm sure he has a mortgage, or perhaps has a mortgage, and in that case, he's going to have to continue to pay the bank with no money coming in. It would be even worse if he signed a personal guarantee on the mortgage, because now he's personally going to lose his house maybe. He's got taxes he's got to pay. He's got insurance policies he has to continue to pay for. He's lost all of his employees. I mean, sure, maybe they'd come back if he opened the doors tomorrow, but let's face it, those people need to feed their families, and they're all working at different restaurants now too. I'm sure some of those employees were long-time employees, and their customers probably came to the restaurant just to see them. He's lost everything that he's worked for his whole life, and I wonder whether he had business interruption coverage. Is this something where the insurance company is going to step up and pay for all these things and try to make up the difference in dollars? So that's what I want to talk to you about, is what is business interruption? What does it cover? It covers three main components. It covers the lost profit after a covered event. It could be a fire, it could be a tornado, it could be something that puts you out of business for 10 days or puts you out of business permanently. It'll cover your lost profits. It'll cover your continuing expenses. So in that case, I gave you the mortgage payment would be covered, the taxes, the insurance, and it would cover extra expenses. So those would be things, if this guy could start a temporary restaurant down the street, it would pay for the extra expense of getting that leased space, paying that rent. If he had to expedite fryers and ovens and things in from manufacturers, the expediting cost, that would all be covered by extra expense coverage. So those are the three main components. Again, lost profit, continuing expenses, and extra expenses after a loss. The best part about my job is that I get to go into all of these different clients' facilities and see how they operate, what they do, and I see some of the most amazing things. One that came to mind as I was preparing for this topic today was a heat treater. This is a company that has enormous furnaces in their building, and they have hydraulic lifts that raise these furnaces into the air, and they put metal parts in there, and then they heat these metal parts to make them strong. Long story short, I thought, what would happen if there was an event that caused a physical loss at the building where they could not operate these furnaces? Maybe the power went out because of a covered loss. Maybe it was because they had a machinery breakdown exposure. Maybe they had a fire. Any number of things could happen. If they can't operate, now we've got a big problem. They can't produce the parts. They're going to lose all their customers. They're going to lose revenue and things like that. So business interruption doesn't have to be just from a fire where your building's on the ground smoldering. It could be something small, something as simple as a machinery breakdown event. So let's conclude by saying this. When you're talking about business interruption, you need to think not only what do you have to insure, but what should you insure? And every policy is different, but essentially the policy will say something like you're obligated to insure at least 12 months of your lost profits, or your net income before taxes, I should say, and all continuing expenses for 1 year. Maybe that's not enough. In this case, think about the restaurant. If that guy can't rebuild his restaurant within 1 year, he's going to run out of limits. So you need to think about what you should insure. You should insure as long as you think it's going to take you to rebuild. And that may be more than 12 months when you take into account permits and building costs and things like that. So for more information on this, see my contact information on the directory page of this website and call me. Let's talk about it.